Welcome to the hot seat with Mr. White on Always Remember that all these stories is allegedly, so thanks for watching.
By the way, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Jam on your horn now, that fucking bullshit record.
Jay-Z's former background singer, Jaguar Wright, is shedding new light on Jay's alleged involvement in the death of R&B star Aaliyah, and it looks like Jaguar believes Jay had Aaliyah taken out to make room for Beyonce.
She liked posing with him in pictures for Page 6. Aaliyah didn't. She fell in love with Dame. And Aaliyah's gone, and, you know.
It's been over 20 years since the princess of R&B, Aaliyah, passed away in a plane accident. However, fans still want Aaliyah's case to be reopened because new evidence recently emerged suggesting that Aaliyah's death was planned by high-profile industry figures. But who are these industry figures who wanted to get rid of Aaliyah? Is Jay-Z one of them? Let's break it down.
A trail of tears for Aaliyah. A horse-drawn carriage carried the fallen star's casket through the streets of New York, a somber procession reminiscent of the funeral for Princess Diana. To many, Aaliyah was more than an entertainer. She was a role model who lived with grace and goodness. Aaliyah left this world like a princess.
Those old enough to remember Aaliyah in her heyday know that if she was still alive today, most R&B girls wouldn't even stand a chance. Aaliyah was that girl back in the day. She could sing, dance, and act. She was smart, beautiful, and humble. She literally had it all.
I've had a lot of success. You know, I've got dual careers now, and sometimes I'm like, wow, you know, this is amazing. Is it real? Is it, you know, sometimes I'm taken aback, and I'm just like, you know, dang, I can't believe it.
But sadly, on August 25th, 2001, 22-year-old Aaliyah lost her life in a plane accident in the Bahamas.
Only 22 years old, this pop sensation was a popular singer. She was an actress in some movies recently, even a Grammy nominee. Tonight, her family is in mourning, fans asking, why her?
According to the official story, the plane carrying Aaliyah and 8 others crashed because it was overloaded and operated by an inexperienced pilot. However, Aaliyah's fans never accepted the official narrative because there are a lot of details that simply don't add up. To give you some context, on August 21st, 2001, Aaliyah appeared on BET and revealed she would start shooting the video for Rock the Boat the following day with director Hype Williams.
Now, when can we expect that?
I shoot the video tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And that video should be out, we're hoping, like, beginning of September.
I can't wait.
We're actually doing singles back-to-back. We're doing Rock the Boat first, then we're dropping More Than a Woman. So we got them coming back-to-back.
On August 22nd, Aaliyah flew to Miami, where Hype had set up a green screen set to film dance routines and underwater shots.
Wait, watch your head. Watch your
head.
I got you.
I'm going great mouth on this one. See, like if you get red lollipops, you get red mouth.
However, for some unknown reason, Hype suddenly decided to move the production to the Bahamas. And on August 23rd, Aaliyah and employees of Virgin Records flew to the islands. But Hype never explained why he made Aaliyah fly to the Bahamas when they had everything they needed for the video in Miami, including a high-end green screen set and beautiful beaches. Aaliyah's ex, Dame Dash, later said that he told Aaliyah she shouldn't go because she was terrified of flying, and it simply didn't make sense why Hype was forcing her to go to the Bahamas.
So I was like, you know, he's gonna make you do another day. Don't do it. Trust me, it's just so he can spend money, you know? And sure enough, she came home that day, and I had a big house, I rented this house, and she's like, I'm going to, you know, there. And I was like, I just thought that it wasn't necessary.
Also, according to Dame, when Aaliyah wrapped up the shoot in the Bahamas on August 25th and saw the plane they gave her, she instantly had a bad feeling.
When she actually saw the plane, she, we had the Blackberries, and she said, I don't like this plane. And I was like, well, don't get on it. And she was like, well, I got to because I got work to do. She got on the plane, and she always had a very serious fear of planes in general. Mm-hmm. So she had to overcome a fear to get on that plane.
But it gets even more disturbing from here. Dame also revealed that Lenny Kravitz, who has family in the Bahamas, offered Aaliyah his private jet, but Hype Williams took it from her.
But what I was really more tight about was that I had heard that Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet and that Hype had took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about that. So you could ask Hype about that.
That's what I said. Have you ever talked to Hype about it?
Yeah.
And how did that conversation go?
Ask him.
But the biggest clue that Aaliyah's death may have been orchestrated is found in journalist Kathy Iandoli's 2021 biography of Aaliyah. According to Iandoli, Aaliyah initially refused to board the plane and went back into a taxicab, telling her team she had a headache. However, eyewitness Kingsley Russell, whose family ran the taxicab company, revealed that someone from Aaliyah's team went into the taxi with her and gave her a pill. Shortly after, Aaliyah lost consciousness, and according to Russell, she was carried on the plane.
Kingsley Russell, who was 13 at the time, was in the car that drove Aaliyah and her team to the airport for their return flight to Miami. According to Kingsley Russell, they took her out of the van and she didn't even know she was getting boarded on a plane.
Moments after takeoff, the plane crashed about 200 feet from the runway, killing everyone on board.
But her life, her dreams, were taken away. On board the doomed Cessna, Aaliyah and 8 others, including a representative for Virgin Records and a makeup artist. Investigators say one of the engines apparently failed. They crashed just short of a runway on Abaco Island.
So if this accident was really orchestrated, who benefited from Aaliyah's death? Well, according to Jaguar Wright, Jay-Z and Beyonce both had a lot to gain from Aaliyah not being around. And there's actually been a lot of speculation among fans that Jay hired Hype Williams to convince Aaliyah to fly to the Bahamas. See, when Hype directed Beyonce and Jay-Z's video for Drunk in Love years later, many fans pointed out that the opening scene of Beyonce carrying a trophy could symbolize her snatching Aaliyah's place as the biggest R&B star. And on top of all this, there's also the fact that Jay-Z was close to R. Kelly, who groomed Aaliyah and married her when she was 15 by using a fake ID.
We're just very close. He's my best friend.
Yeah, cool.
Now, who found her? In the whole wide world.
I found Leah. As a matter of fact, Barry Hankerson, my manager, who's her uncle, told me to go up to Detroit and hear her sing. Once I got up to Detroit, I didn't have to hear her sing because she was glowing.
By the way, did you hear R. Kelly saying Aaliyah was glowing when he first met her? Well, he was talking about a 12-year-old girl, because that's how old Aaliyah was when her uncle introduced her to Kelly. And while R. Kelly was only recently convicted, his predatory behavior was an open secret for years, and everyone in the music industry knew about it, including Jay-Z. In fact, Jay-Z recorded a joint album, Best of Both Worlds, with R. Kelly years after Kelly's illegal marriage to Aaliyah was exposed, and Dame Dash later said this is when he realized he had to cut ties with Jay-Z.
But then years later, they tried to do the tour.
The best of both.
Yeah, but it still didn't work out. But you notice I wasn't a part of any of that, and the karma happens. But the thing I didn't understand is I was like, I know I'm not with that. And because of the moral challenge and him choosing one way, I knew morally we weren't the same. Right. So to me, Rockefeller was defunct. It was over. I couldn't. It was something that to me was just like, not to say unforgivable, but I couldn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And then I didn't understand how people didn't, I thought, well, the people aren't gonna have that. But nobody said nothing.
All this has led many fans and some industry insiders to speculate that Aaliyah's death was a sacrifice. And even Mary J. Blige once referred to Aaliyah's death as a spiritual murder.
I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not. Because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof, you know what I'm saying, for what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I believe it wasn't her time to go because from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that.
What's also a bizarre coincidence is that Jay-Z and Beyonce went public with their relationship the same year Aaliyah died. And that's also when Beyonce's solo career finally took off. And if you ask Jaguar Wright, there are too many coincidences at this point not to wonder if Jay-Z was somehow involved in Aaliyah's death. In her recent viral interview, Jaguar alleged that Jay climbed his way to the top by eliminating his competition, including Harlem rapper Big L.
The first time I ever saw Jay-Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. But he didn't show up as Jay-Z. He didn't show up as the hottest rapper on the street. He showed up as the that was with Big L.
Rest
For
in
those
peace.
of you.
Rest in peace, Big L.
Rest in peace, Big L.
One of the
That was the
dopest.
sensei.
One of the dopest. Yes.
Big L was who put Jay-Z on.
Without question.
And then Big L died, and then the next thing you know, Jay-Z.
Jaguar said that once Big L died, Jay started building relationships with major industry players like Sean Diddy Combs, who at that point was already close to Aaliyah.
Building a working, camaraderie with Honey Combs and AKA Diddy. And
why do you give him the honeycombs? Why do you give him honeycombs?
Because he smacks so sweet. That sodomite.
Jaguar also claimed that the real reason Jay-Z never spoke about R. Kelly harming Aaliyah was because he was guilty of the same thing.
And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. They made all those records together. They both Aaliyah. They shared so much in common. Whoever talks about best of both worlds. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody talks about this shit.
Nobody talks about that project.
That swept that smooth under the rug.
Why?
But that's not all. According to Jaguar, Jay-Z also wanted to have the main R&B girl on his arm. However, Aaliyah wasn't interested in him, and she started dating Dame Dash. And that's probably why Jay-Z threw Dame under the bus and shifted his focus from Aaliyah to Beyonce.
I think everybody that knows Sean Carter knows that he will slump anyone in any relationship for $1. Look at how he did Dame. Like, I don't give a if you wanted to get away from your homie, if you wanted to get away from your partner, but to do it the way he did it, it's malicious. But maybe that was because he was the girl that didn't want you.
Oh.
But if it's true that Jay-Z eliminated his own competition, did he do the same for Beyonce? Well, according to Jaguar, this is definitely a possibility. Jaguar explained that as soon as Aaliyah died, Jay-Z stole producer Rich Harrison from Amory, another artist who was a threat to Beyonce. And before you knew it, Beyonce and Jay-Z were on top of the game.
By the way, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Damn on your horn now, that bullshit record. From the Austin Powers was some of the worst ever. They were having a hard time taking her solo. And then Aaliyah died. And then they brought Rich Harrison in. And you know, kind of think it's crazy right now. She liked posing with him in pictures for Page 6. Aaliyah didn't. She fell in love with Dame.
It sounds like Jaguar is saying Jay-Z sacrificed Aaliyah for Beyonce's fame. And looking at the comments on social media, most fans believe that Jaguar is speaking facts. Jay-Z always said he'd get rid of you if you was blocking his paper, one fan said. Most people don't pay attention to words. They think these guys just talk over beats. I listen to what these people say. And another fan wrote, it's clear she was sacrificed. And who happened to come up and become the main girl after Aaliyah died? Beyonce. So that means she was sacrificed for Beyonce. Whether Beyonce was in on it or not is unknown though, but all will come to light eventually. But let's hear your thoughts on this. Was Aaliyah really sacrificed for Beyonce? And was it all Jay-Z's doing? Comment down below, and don't miss out on this next story.